go. Is this where we go in? The tasting room entrance? Where are we at again?
We are somewhere.
We're somewhere. Doing something. Oh, it's locked. We gotta go to the front door.
Oh,
They're not expect. We have a private tour, I believe.
Oh.
Someone left their flip flop.
That's Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hello. Are you live?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I'm just filming.
Shankar Distillers.
Shankar.
Shankar. Very cool. Beware of dog. That's awesome. Hello.
Hello.
How we doing?
Good.
Lena sent me.
Who?
Lena Anderson.
Lena. Yeah.
Yeah,
Detroit
yeah.
Golf Club.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
yes.
Scott?
I'm Scott.
Nice to meet you, David Helm.
David?
We don't mind if we film, do we?
Hi, Nick.
No. All right.
He's from Sweden. He's doing a little road trip thing for YouTube. So he's come all the way up from Texas and made a bunch of stops, and now he's touring around Michigan.
All right.
Yeah. So, but we thought he likes alcohol.
We can show you. Excellent. I'm gonna ask. Do you have time to give these guys a tour?
Yeah, I mean, you think Timothy's going to call us?
I'll handle Timothy.
I also need to help Rob with his bottling problem, but I can give him a tour right now.
Okay. I'm gonna give you. This is Kyla. She's our master distiller. So
Okay.
if you want to talk about alcohol and the stills.
That's
Do
great.
you guys sell this stuff in Sweden? He recognizes the label.
Yeah, I recognize the
eagle.
cork because I've seen it
We
somewhere.
we shipped. A lady was importing it from us and stores in Florida, and then she brought it to Germany. So I don't.
Germany.
Maybe Germany
Yeah,
you saw it.
Germany, yeah. Because we sometimes drive over to Germany to buy more accessible.
Yeah. So it made from there. But,
Okay.
But we don't. Ourselves don't export it yet.
Sure,
But we're
sure.
working on it.
Okay.
All right. Very cool. Hi, I'm Dave, by the way.
Dave Kailash.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Nick.
Nick Kailash. Nice to meet you guys.
Kailash. I got the name written down, but I didn't know how to pronounce it. And I'm just horrible with names in general. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
very cool. So, what are you guys doing at the Detroit Golf Club? You guys just hosting an event there or something?
Yeah, we're hosting tasting.
Okay.
They're just it's just getting more brand recognition, and then there's
Sure.
a lot of obviously.
That's Timothy right now.
I'll get that.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take you guys back.
All right. Awesome. How long you guys been here?
We just did our grand opening in July.
Oh, all right.
So
Very new.
We've been here for about. Let me go this way right now. Just all the lights are off. We've been kind of building out the store for the last 2 years.
Okay. So you've been distilling for 2 years.
We have been getting it contract distilled for us for the last before 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And then now we're going to be distilling on site here.
Nice.
So this is kind of our tasting room.
This is
Lovely. I like the wine barrel tables.
Those are actually bourbon barrels.
Oh, bourbon. Well, of course. Of course, they're bourbon barrels. Nice. So, how many different? I see 4 different bottles here. How many different flavors do you have?
So we have, man, I should know the number off the top of my head. Our bourbon, our rye, barrel proofs and both, our 102, our Detroit Reserve, and then our Heritage wine.
Oh, I see a bunch
Yeah.
of them there on the bottom row.
And then we also have a few that we have 4 more, so that puts me at 11 different whiskeys.
Okay.
The other 4 are bourbon and rye finished in Oloroso sherry, wine casks, and ruby port casks.
Okay. So, what's the best one?
It's a good question. I'm not going to say what's best and what's not best, but I'll tell you what one of my favorites are.
All right, there you go.
The 102 Reserve is one of my favorites. That's This one right here. It's a single barrel.
Okay.
That is 102 proof for M102 for 8 Mile.
Okay.
And I like this because, you know, it's not fully cask strength, but it has all those flavors of single barrel, and it's still a little bit higher, but
I
you
feel
can
like
have more of these drinks, you know, versus a cask strength. So that's why I like this one the most.
all right, nice.
Yeah. Aside from that, I mean, some of the best ones to some people would be all the finished ones. Those are like the premium ones.
Okay. And so you guys have been contracting it out for 2 years. Are you in a lot of places? Are you?
Yeah, we're in over 700 stores in Michigan.
Okay.
All the Myers, Total Wine. We're about to get into Kroger here at the end of fall, I believe.
Okay.
And then all mom and pop liquor stores all over.
Nice.
But then we also do Georgia, Texas, Florida, and Virginia are huge markets for us.
Okay, and it's all distilled here for
No,
those states.
Those will be distilled here starting at the end of this month.
Oh, okay. All right. Very
Because
cool.
all of it's been aging. These are all like 5.5 years.
And where do you keep your barrels?
We have a bunch on site here and a bunch in a lot of warehouses. We have a couple thousand barrels. So
Now, how you only use the barrels once, or do you have a blend where you use the older barrels with the new?
no, because we just do bourbon and rye, so we have to use them just one time.
Okay.
New barrels only. But then, you know, we've given some of our barrels to like different breweries, like Brewery Vivant over in Grand Rapids is like using ours for their aged stouts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's quite common back in Sweden with our new Swedish distilleries that they then sell it or give it to the beer, the craft beer companies, so they can. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then we also do tequila that's coming here at the, I think the second week of September will be available in a lot of stores. And so our aged tequila uses our used barrels as well.
That sounds good. I like tequila.
Yeah.
Tequila.
So we got a Blanco, Repo, and Añejo coming.
Okay, nice.
I'm actually going down to Mexico on Saturday to oversee like the blending and bottling.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's very cool. So you guys got a whole operation here. That's nice.
Yeah, and then we got vodka at the top, and then we got gin. That's the elephant one, Dasara gin.
And you're going to be distilling all of it here, or are you still?
All of it's going to be here at the start of this year, or sorry, at the start of next month.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And that's your operations back there?
Yeah, you guys want to take a look?
Yeah, definitely.
And then, you know, full tasting room in here so they make cocktails and everything in here. Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. You? Why is it so high?
Well,
I don't know anything about the distilling process. Is it like oil where you collect it at different temperatures?
yeah, so we can do that off that tall column still. That's a continuous column.
Okay.
So it just has a really large capacity because obviously it looks different than this one right here.
Yeah.
This one you load up like once, you know, per batch, you have to load it up. This one's continuous, meaning after I ferment everything, the fermentation gets pumped all the way to the top of this continuous column, and I don't have to shut it off.
Okay.
So there's not like batch by batch. It's like I can run through all my fermenters
Okay.
at once, basically. It's tall not only for that reason, but also because we can make about 85% alcohol off of that. So it needs to be, you know, have a lot of plates for it.
And am I
Yeah,
right?
it
You
looks
collect.
cool.
Yeah, it does look very cool. I noticed the big glass enclosure
Yeah.
on the when we parked in here.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a lot of our construction was, you know, this was just regular ceiling that we cut out and then built this whole thing up on it.
Nice. So what? I have no idea what the whole process is. If you don't mind
You want to
taking.
go through from the start?
Yeah.
Cool. This is our team bottling some of the 102 that I was talking about.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know how wine's done, but that's about it.
We're getting a bunch of pallets, so a bunch of pallets in the way. We also export over to India.
Okay.
And so this is just for a huge order shipping out next week. But we start over here. This is like our mill, so we bring in all of our grains, mostly Michigan grains.
Okay.
Except for our rye, which is in Ontario because they grow a lot of really quality rye, which is actually cool because we're actually bringing a strain of rye from Ontario to Michigan and growing that here for next season. That way it'll be like all Michigan crop.
Nice. Very
But
cool.
we basically put our grain up here. There's a mill down below that's like a huge
Coffee
just a
grinder.
bunch of blades crushing it into like a flour. All that gets augured up this white pipe right into our mash cooker here. So like the mash cooking process is really, the whole point of it is to free up sugars from the grain. So like complex carbs, simple carbs, and like nutrition, all that grain is like complex carbs that are being broken down into like glucose and fructose. So really simple sugars, and that's what the yeast can eat. So we throw all the grains in there, put our water in there, basically bring this to like the gelatinization point, which is like the ideal temperature for each grain, and then crash cool that all the way down to fermentation temperature.
Okay.
So
Which
that-
is what? What's the temperature?
About 28 Celsius is what we ferment at.
Okay.
And so it's about 1,500 gallons. So, and our fermenters are 1,500 gallons. It's like a 1-to-1 kind of thing. Then we take it over to our fermenters and ferment for like 3 to 4 days. We get about 10% alcohol. You guys are welcome to walk up there if you guys want, but it's not like there's anything in it. But you can see like the cooling coils and stuff inside that mash cooker if you want to go up there.
I might. Yeah.
Yeah. When we do like tours and stuff, starting like next month, you'll be able to like taste what it tastes like from the mash, where it's all sweet, to like day 1, day 2, day 3 fermentation, how it changes.
Okay. Interesting.
Plus like that white whiskey that we get right off the still.
Otherwise known as moonshine.
Exactly. white dog, moonshine, whatever you want to call it.
All right. So it ferments in here. You said for how long?
Ferments in there for 3 to 4 days.
Okay.
And then we have about 10% alcohol after that.
All right.
We take that and we take it all the way to the top of this continuous column. We just pump it up there. So then over here is what we call like our stripping column. So a stripping column, we're calling it that because we're stripping the alcohol from the grain and the water. So while this is continuously pumping in fermentation, I'm also getting continuous product coming off, as well as grains and water being pumped out of the column.
Okay. So this is where you separate it out, the grains and the water from the alcohol.
Yes, this is where like traditionally you call this low wines at this point, like that first alcohol product that we get off.
Yeah.
But we can kind of change the percentage alcohol based on what we're making. So if we're making whiskey, we keep it lower. If we're making vodka, we bring it up higher.
Okay.
You know, the lower alcohol percentage, the more flavors you're kind of retaining in there. So think like vodka distilled up to like 95% alcohol versus like whiskey distilled below 80% alcohol. So
Okay.
keeping the flavors in there. And then
You said this is continuous. So where does it
Yeah.
go? Is there a holding container? Like,
for
well, if this is continuously running, where does it go after this? I guess.
so like the product is coming out and we store them in like those IBC totes, those kind of white totes back there.
Oh, okay. That's
So-
what I was looking for. Yeah.
I have like a couple of those set up right here. I think per fermentation, we get about 4 barrels of whiskey out, which fills up like one of those.
Okay.
So we take that, and then we also get the grains in the water that gets pumped out of here as well. And that's like what we give like farmers for cow feed.
Okay. I was wondering what you do with that. Is it? Do you dry it out or do you keep it as a wet mash?
We keep it kind of wet, but we're kind of working with some grants right now in Michigan and trying to get it so we can just get like a sifter basically to dry it out a little bit.
Okay.
Farmers tend to like that more.
Yeah. I was gonna
But,
say the dry stuff would be better.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
And then so we make the low lines over here, and then we put them into our pot still. So on our pot still, we also call it, it's a hybrid pot still because I got these columns here. But then also it's, the slang term I call it our finishing still. So this is where we're really like polishing the product, making cuts on it. So I'm making, I'm bringing my low lines over here, and if I'm making whiskey, I just use this smaller column right here.
Okay.
If I'm making vodka, I activate those 2 taller columns.
Okay.
And then if I'm making gin, I have a gin basket, which is that smaller on the stainless basket right there. The condensers on the far
You
right.
tasting it the entire time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Gotta taste it.
Quality control.
That's great. That's great.
So, yeah, like, it's kind of crazy though. So, whiskey, bourbon, and rye whiskey have to be distilled under 80% alcohol. So, and that's just like a government definition for both those products. But each one of those sight glasses is there's a tray there. That tray is kind of where that vapor-liquid interaction is happening. So, when that boils from the pot, it's going into the bottom of that column, boiling all the way up to the top, and it's getting cooling water at the top of that column.
Okay.
So some of it's turning into a liquid and falling back down, and then that vapor and that liquid's interacting with each plate, and then kind of strengthening the alcohol the more plates you have.
So are you siphoning it off at like a particular plate then? That's your goal for
Over here
certain
we are,
80 proof?
over here, because this is batch, once this goes through, it comes off at our parrot at the very end there. This boils, you go progressively through the boiling point. So,
Okay.
like, the concept that's happening over here is water and ethanol have 2 different boiling points. Ethanol boils before water. So, over here, I'm just using that ethanol boiling point to my advantage, pulling all that off before the water comes off. Over here, I'm separating ethanol from other alcohols and esters, so just different flavor compounds.
Okay.
And so those all have a range of boiling points. So the very first thing that boils off is like the lightest compounds, which is like our heads component. So I don't know if you've heard about cuts at all on whiskeys or
I've heard about
vodka.
them.
Yeah. So basically the most volatile compounds come off first. And so they come off in order when you're doing it in a batch. So like methanol is what's coming off in your heads. Stuff you don't want. Stuff that's not only not good for you, but doesn't taste good.
Doesn't taste good, yeah.
Yeah. And so then that boils off first. Then you kind of run into where ethanol is, and that's your hearts, the majority of the stuff we're keeping. And then you kind of get into the heavier compounds, you get tails, start getting like really funky flavors. You cut that out as well. So like if we're making something clear like vodka or gin, those cuts are a little bit like sharper, just so it's like a ready to drink product. If we're making whiskey, bourbon or rye whiskey, you leave a little bit of tails in that kind of like in the barrel are reacting and creating like new flavors over time.
Okay. Very cool. And what do you do with your cutoffs? You just release them up into the atmosphere, or do you collect them at all?
No, I don't think the government would like that.
But you do collect them? Do you sell
We
them
do
at all?
collect
Or?
them, so you can redistill them. So like if we're making vodka, we can redistill them.
Okay.
Whiskey, you can redistill them. We don't really do that, but we can use them like as cleaners around here.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if we
All
ever
right.
hit another COVID run again, then we'll be making hand sanitizers. So,
There you go.
At my last distillery, that's what we saved all of those heads. And so when COVID hit, we were like, all right, we have thousands of gallons of sanitizer we can make. So
No, that's
versus
awesome.
paying to get rid of it because it is a hazardous material because it's so flammable.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, what do you do with all that? Because no, that's very cool. I like the hand sanitizer. You could get side business.
It is, yeah.
We need a new pandemic.
It's basically, your ethanol fuel. So,
Yeah. That's very cool. I don't know if I got your name on video. If you in your title, if you want to.
Yeah,
say
I'm
who you-
Kailash Sivakumar. I'm the master distiller at Shankar Distillers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So once it goes through this process, then it goes in the barrels.
Then it goes in the barrels. So if we're making our whiskeys, we have to distill them under 80% alcohol. So then we even add more water to that, proof it down. We put it in our barrels about 58%.
Okay.
So then it sits in that barrel. These are American white oak barrels here. These are used barrels right here, just for tables.
Yeah.
But American white oak, these are made in Kentucky from either Space Eye cooperage or Canyon cooperage. We use a couple different cooperages, I guess. But char level 4 on the inside, so that's like the max char on the inside, typically the most common for bourbon and rye whiskeys. But then, yeah, we have that sitting here. About 5.5 years is where some of our products start. Like that's kind of our like minimum age. You know, we don't have age statements on anything other than the like single barrels where we'll write on the side of the labels, this is when it was barreled, this is when it was bottled.
Okay.
But I know the small batch stuff, which is truly small batch, it's like 3 barrels blended together. Those don't have age statements, but they're all about 5.5 year whiskeys in them.
That's
Some of the cool ones we have though are like 8.5 years at this point.
And so you've been making for a while then to get aged 8.5 years.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been making either here? Well, you haven't been making here very long, but how long has the company been in business in distilling?
I guess like we started in 2020, 2021. That's when Varchowski Shankar, the owner, started the company. Got super into bourbon. He's always been super into bourbon. Always wanted to do it.
Okay.
He has a software company, and he was like, you know, I'm going to get into this right now. So at that point, started contract distilling a bunch out. Then we were able to acquire some barrels that were even older. Same mash bill recipe that we like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So all of our stuff is like high rye bourbons, like 36% rye. So we love the complex flavor.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then where do you store the barrels, or where do you plan on storing them here?
You know, my warehouse is a little dirty right now because we're just doing a bunch of bottling, but we have another warehouse in the back here. Stores all our raw materials, a lot of our bottle, components. But then we're probably going to store maybe up to 400 barrels here, and we're going to have to get a new building in like another, I would say, 6 months.
And everything is hand bottled or hand labeled?
Hand bottled. I don't know what you would call that if that's hand labeled, but they are hand labeling some stuff right
They're
now.
hand labeling.
Yeah,
here,
look,
I
that's
see.
the side label that I was saying where you can see the age statement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And everything is heat shrinked around the
Yeah.
by hand.
Yeah, you can see
There's
that.
no automated system here. That's nice.
Yeah, it's not really automated. It's all what I would call like semi-automatic.
Yeah, semi-automatic with human intervention.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what's the Eagle? Was there anything significant of the Eagle, or does it just look cool because it looks cool?
Yeah, well, it not only does it look cool, but so there's 2 Eagles on here. This first one, I'll put it in the light over here for you. This first eagle on the actual label is a double-headed eagle, which was from, I know it's like a universal symbol across different countries and heritages, but in, Varchas is from Mysore, India. And in Mysore, India, that was like a symbol of the kings of Mysore.
Okay.
And so then you have the American eagle on the top, which kind of symbolizes his journey here, starting at his software company, having that American dream experience, and that's where the American eagle comes in on the top. So it's kind of everything we're trying to do here is like an East meets West kind of culture.
Nice.
Which you probably could see in the tasting room, like all that stuff on the back is called a jolly, and it's was actually made in India.
Okay.
And shipped over here just to kind of give that aesthetic.
Very cool.
You know,
No,
made
I
by
like that.
hand too.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
All those brass pieces bent by one guy with a an anvil, a hammer, and a torch. So,
All right. I like that. I like
Yeah.
the handmade aspect of everything. Yeah.
mhm.
That is very cool.
So yeah, you can see a little bit back here, but it's not the best for film. But you
Ah,
can see I
it's-
got a bunch of new barrels back there, ready to go for when we start distilling our whiskey.
Nice. And you guys are going to be in operation, you said, at the end of the month?
Yep, end of the month.
Very cool. You got a bunch of random bottles sitting back here?
What do I have? Oh, those are just probably bottles that didn't make the quality control.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I see a two-headed eagle.